Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video from sunny Netherlands. Today I am looking into fixing my kitchen drawers and creating a system so that they won't open when I drive. I've talked about this in a video where I've talked about things I would like to adjust in my van, things that are working and things that are not working, and these are things that are not working that I would like to fix. In my last video, my previous video, I fixed the Max Air fan, which is looking fly. I'm really excited about that. And now I'm looking into the kitchen drawer, so let's get to it. So my kitchen is made out of Ikea drawers, and they are filled with a lot of stuff. It's not really clean at the moment, but this is everything. But that makes the drawers really heavy. I have some magnets. I have magnets here and I have magnets over there, and they keep the drawers closed while I'm driving horizontally. But as soon as the van has a little bit of a uphill drive, especially if I have to brake for a traffic light or anything, or if I just have to brake to see if I can continue and then go further up, this one and that one open up. And in my recent travel, the drawer opened up, it banged up, this went up, and then it closed again when I hit the brake, and that's how this happened. Now, I've been looking into lots and lots and lots of options to fix this, and I've come to this conclusion. This is what I've come up with. I've got these finger snappers that latch like this, and to release it, you put your finger on here, and then it unhooks, and then it comes back and it latches again. So as I was explaining to you guys what I got and how I was going to use it, I realized I understood the mechanism. I didn't really understand how I was going to place it inside of my drawer. I didn't have a catching horizontal piece of wood, so I'm creating that out of leftover wood I have that I'm going to install inside the kitchen cabinets so that the drawer has something to fall onto where the little hook will sit. And at the same time, I'm figuring out how I'm going to place everything. So I am now measuring the inside of the drawer. I am putting the little hook on, and I'm going to see, because if I want to use these hooks what they're meant for, I need to cut a hole in the front of the drawer, which is going to be big enough to put my finger through and hook it. But that also means that a lot of dust and stuff can go into the drawer, which is going to contain my food and all my spices, and I don't really want to have dust and debris going in there. So I wanted to keep the hole as minimal as possible. Plus, I didn't really like the look of having a hole where your finger can fit through, having a hole sit there. So I wanted to give it a little bit of a twist. I wanted to use a little leather strap, which I'm making out of a little belt, and I want it to look like a normal strap on the outside and then make it work on the inside. So that's what I'm trying to figure out during this video. So here you can see I'm using a little piece of fabric that I have, seeing if I could pull it with fabric, but this fabric isn't strong enough and it's ripping. But I'm just trying to see if that would be an option, to see if I could potentially pull it instead of with my finger with a piece of fabric or leather. So now this is the way I want to try it, because I figured if this doesn't work, I can always cut the hole bigger and then make it a finger hole, but I'm thinking it will work. This fabric kept ripping, so it kind of made me a little bit unsure, but I know that leather is more sturdy and it'll hold. So I figured out the placement where the hook was going to sit and then where the hole was going to be, and I just decided how big it was going to be. And now it was time to start cutting out the holes of the drawer. I was trying to keep them centered so that all of the leather on the outside would be aligned and it would look nice from the outside. So we are creating holes in the new drawers. I didn't really have the right equipment to do this, so I just drilled a gazillion holes where I wanted to have it cut out. But this is MDF, and MDF doesn't really work the way normal wood does, so it was a hard chore and it gave a lot of mess. But in the end, I used my Leatherman pocket knife, and it has a little saw which would fit in there exactly, so I could saw it out with that. And this is how I created 3 holes in the wood. Here you can see me try and saw it out. It gives such a mess. Look at all the mess coming out. And I wasn't working in a wood shop or anything, it's just my kitchen, so this was really nice, but I just kept sweeping and sweeping and sweeping and trying to keep it nice so that it wouldn't be such a mess. But I really need to cut this hole out. Now, normally, if you have a bigger drill bit or if you have anything to saw with, you know, there are better ways to do this, but I just made do with what I had. So after I sawed everything, I sanded it down and I primed it a couple of times, and then I put the top coat on and I sanded it in between. And it took a lot of time to get this really nice because it's going to be the finished result for the color. So I spent a lot of time for this, a couple of days, and let it dry and let it harden before I was further installing it. So after everything is really dry and thorough, I'm now to the step of installing it all. And I still need to figure out how I'm going to attach the belt. So that's what I'm doing here. I just bought a men's belt at the action store that we have in the Netherlands, and I'm now figuring out how it's going to sit, how long of the belt I need. This is a top drawer, which generally did not open on itself. It was enough that there were magnets on there, but I want them all to look the same. And now I'm installing this hook, so I just did this one as well. And I need to get the best shear to cut. I have hair cutting shears which are sharper. I probably ruined them doing this, I don't care. So I'm using the existing holes that are already there, and I need to make it fit, so I'm just cutting it to size and figuring it out as I'm going. Now this step, I was really thorough and careful with it because I didn't really want the cut part to sit outside, but at the same time the hook should not be pulled any way back. It should hook really tightly on the inside hook, and if you put the leather strap a little bit too tight, it'll unlatch by itself. So that's why I'm figuring this out and look at what it's looking like and seeing what it's doing and looking what it's looking like. But it seems to be working, and I'm really happy. The only thing that kind of scares me is that if you install this and then the leather somehow slides off, that drawer is closed. You will not be able to open the drawer. You will have to have some sort of hook or some sort of like wire and put it through and try and hook it to open it. So I'm still figuring out how I'm going to attach the leather to the little hook so that it won't be able to slide off and it won't be able to come off and have the drawer permanently closed. The existing drawers had these little rubber catchers that I'm putting on there, which is making it so that the drawer front won't sit on the wood, so it won't get damaged. So Ikea drawers are really awesome because you can easily take them out, but also you can easily take the front off, and this is really cool, like click system, and so that made it easier for me to take it out. I am looking for the hole though where I need to poke. I need to poke on a little plastic hole, push it in, and then the drawer, glider will slide back, and then I can take the entire drawer out. So if I want to take the front of the drawer off, I push this up and then I pull it out, and now you can take the front off, and this is also what locks it back in place. And these ones are for putting the drawer up and down. So if this needs to be a little bit higher or lower, you can move it. And the other one, that one, is to move it a little bit more left and right, so you can have them sit centered nice in the middle. I really like that system. So the top drawer is the hardest one to install because I don't have that latch where I put the little hook on out of the cabinet. For the other two drawers, I have that latch out of there, the piece of wood, and this one is in there. So I need to figure out where I need to drill a hole, where I need to attach it. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to figure out where it's going to sit and how I can do that. So the next step I have to do is get all the attachment bits off of the drawer front and place them on the new one. So I have to measure very carefully where this needs to sit so that the new front will sit nicely in the new drawer. I can just attach this system to the new wood that I made and then I'll be fine. It's times like these when I'm really happy that I have this big kitchen for a van, because my entire van, you can't really see it here, but my entire van is filled with all the stuff that used to be in the drawers, because I need the drawers to be empty to be able to do this. And it's raining and pouring rain outside, so I cannot put all my stuff outside, but I really wanted to have it done today, so that's why I'm working on it today. But yeah, I'm just carefully measuring because the new things need to sit right at the edge where the old ones were, so that it'll sit nice and tight in the drawer. Okay, so this is where it gets super funny. I cannot look inside of the drawer to see if it's working, so I just put my camera in there and filmed if it's working. And I have so many shots of me trying and adjusting and trying and adjusting and trying and adjusting and seeing if it needs to be higher, if it needs to be lower, if it needs to be for the back, if it needs to be more in front. And I think this is so funny. But that's just how I did it. I tried over and over and over to see if it's working, if it needs to be higher. I just did it like that. So here is where I'm starting to notice that I need to move the hook a little bit more down for it to close better, but that also means that the leather will come off more easily. And that meant I have to come up with a solution to prevent the leather from slipping off. So I'm taking a risk here. I'm drilling a little tiny hole in the finger snapper thing. I didn't have a spare finger snapper thing, and if it breaks, it breaks, and I'm kind of screwed. But I decided I wanted to give it a try because I want to make something that'll keep the leather from slipping off, because if it slips off, I'm screwed. I won't be able to open the drawer anymore. So this is what I'm doing. I have my finger snapper. I'm putting the leather over, and then there's this tiny hole, and I'm figuring something out to put in there. I'm looking at some nails that I have. I eventually came to a little ring that I have for my dog tags and also on my keychain, and I decided to use those. Now this first ring was a little bit too big, so it would get stuck, so I wouldn't be able to open it. Now the other two rings that I found, I sewed them to the leather so that they would lay flat on the leather, and they were standing a little bit more up. For the top drawer, I found this smaller ring, which was perfect, and that fits very well. So with every problem solved, that meant that the first drawer is good to go, and it's time to go to the next one. So it's been taking me many hours to get this one on the right, in the right position with a little ring on it, so it should be fine. Because when I cut the hole in the wood, I thought that this thing would sit lower, but turns out this thing sits a little bit higher from off of the hole, which makes the leather slip off. And if the leather slips off, I won't be able to reach the inside of the drawer. I won't be able to open this. So, yeah, I'm really happy I could drill in here. As I'm doing this, I'm realizing I'm probably reinventing a wheel that's already out there. I wanted a leather strap thingy and not a push button, because I know that this type of thing exists in the form of a push button that you push to close and lock, and then you push and open. So then when you start driving, you just lock everything. But I don't like that look. Sorry for people that have it. I know it's functional, just don't like the look of it. But the first one is on there, and this was probably the hardest one. I think it's going to be the hardest one because with the other drawers, I have this is not attached to the, this has not been attached inside the drawer yet. So I'm thinking this might be more easy because I have this out of the cabinets, but that might not be the case. Yeah, I was planning on going somewhere today. I'm not. I'm gonna finish the job because the van is an extreme mess. Yeah, the first one is on there. I have not attached this yet because this, I want this to sit like that. I want this to sit like this. But if I attach it now, there's no way. So now I can pull the top and the bottom will stay like this. I haven't attached the ladder. I haven't attached, this is a difficult word for me. I have not attached the leather to the outside of the new front of the drawer yet, because I want to have all of them on there and then see what it'll look like. Are the bottom ones going to be slightly bigger? Are they going to be the same size? I want to look into that once everything's on there and it's working. I will attach those. So I'm going to leave it for now. I'm really excited that worked. The only thing is that I don't think I will be having any more of these smaller rings, and I am going to drill all of them. There's going to be 3. I'm going to drill all 3 of them because I want to make sure that they won't be able to slip off. Because of this, they won't be able to slip off. I could maybe bend it so it's going to be more vertical, but I'm gonna look around and see if I have any more of these tiny ones so that I can attach that on there, and otherwise I'll think of something else. But yeah, up to now I'm excited. It's just taking longer than I thought it would. Okay, so I'm now preparing these, so I want to drill a hole, but I drilled the hole up top and then the ring sits vertically to the drawer front. But if I will be able to drill sideways, the rings that I have would sit horizontally, so they would sit flat onto the drawer, and then that wouldn't be an issue. But the thing is, this is like 3, maybe 4 millimeters thick, and my drill bit, the smallest one I have, is like 2. So I think I would be able to manage to drill a hole, but the question is it gonna get super fragile? Should I, because it is wide, so will it break? Is this tip just gonna come off? That's the question. And I don't have a spare one of these, so if I destroy this one, that's it. I'm looking like, can I drill in here a little bit higher up? But the leather is not sitting over there, it's sitting down here. I'm gonna create a little strap and see how high up I can go, because if I could be drilling up here, that's better, but I don't think that works. Anyway, let's figure this out. So as I'm checking if it would work, I'm seeing that the drill bit I have is way too small. That's not gonna work. It's going to destroy the snapper, and I'm not taking the risk. So I am deciding to simply drill the hole just like I did right now, and drill them all the same, and then I'm still checking if it will be possible, and I'm deciding no, it's not gonna work. So I'm just going to drill them like that and then attach them all the same. So I'm using little metal corner bits to attach the wood to the kitchen cabinets so that can go inside, and it's really pleasant that if I take all the drawers out, there's lots of room for me to see where I need to put this. So, and it's also kind of wedged, so I'm able to have a see if the drawer will fit with it being wedged, moving it front and back to see if it'll fit in the end, and then attach it the way I want it. Here's a good example if you can see me wedge it so it stays like that. So now I'm just trying to figure out, does it need to be higher, does it need to be lower, is it going to damage some other wood? I'm just having to see how it'll sit. And now I'm testing how it'll sit with the drawer in it, and it's time to get the headlamp in the drawer and the camera in the drawer, and let's see how it's working. And this is how I see that it needs to go more front, or it needs to go more back, or it needs to go higher up, or it needs to go so cool. And this is where I'm also noticing that the bigger rings that I'm using here are wedging onto the wood. That's why I put a little white stuff there to prevent it from damaging, and that it needs to be more up. So I'm attaching it to the leather so that it'll stay up, so that it won't wedge, so the hook can open further. And then it's time for the final step, and that is attaching all the leather straps to the door. And I decided to get them gradually bigger, so the bottom one is longer than the top one, and that's because the drawers are also bigger. And I'm just seeing how they will sit nicely, cutting a little round edge, and I'm really happy about how this came out to be. It's working good. At first I put the magnets in the middle drawer, but it seems that I have to pull really hard to get it loose, so I'm going to try and drive around without magnets, but the middle drawer is really heavy. If I would notice that it could use a little bit of magnet, I will then attach the magnets. They are now on the sides of the drawer. I will put them close to the snapper, so that if I pull on that side, and that's where the magnets will sit, because now the magnets are sitting on either side of the drawer. So if I pull where the snapper is, the front kind of bends, and I don't think that's good for the wood. So I will put them right next to the snapper now. If I would need them, hopefully I will never need anything of a magnet ever again. This will work. I am aware that it's a big drawer, it's a tiny snapper, so it might need a little bit more of hold going uphill, but I have everything in the van, so if I would notice that that's something I need, I will get that in the future. I will install that. But for now, there's only one little magnet in the middle drawer, and that's making it easier for me to open. The other magnets are really sturdy. I think they are 8 kilogram or 6 kilogram magnets. So they are really tight. But I'm really excited about how it's looking, and I hope it'll be awesome in the future for me to handle. And this is the final result. I'm really excited. I'm really happy I got this job out of the way. It took way longer than I thought it would. It took me multiple days. Also with all the painting and everything. But it's looking really nice. It's working really well. I can still open them fairly easy from sitting in my chair. So I'm super happy with how it turned out. I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video. I will see you in the next one. And in the meantime, don't forget to say yes to Newvanventures.